This is Full Count, the show for baseball fans by baseball fans that takes the extra base and delivers a save each and every week. Presented by Dinger Bats and DingerBats.com. Now here are your hosts, the round mound of sound, Keith Gibson, and owner of Dinger Bats, Kyle Drone.
Play ball! Good morning, baseball fans, and welcome to another edition of Full Count. Keith Gibson here with you alongside me, my tag team partner and co-host Kyle Jerome. We welcome to you another Saturday morning of baseball talk from around the league, and we've got some hot topics to hit on today. But first off, Kyle Jerome, we are now almost 2 full months into the season. Baseball things are heating up all over the globe, and I'm sure you're staying busy.
Oh, yeah, we got both ways cranking full-time right now.
That's a good thing. I had both ways cranking, both this cranking on vacation. Boy, did I enjoy that last week. Let me tell you.
That's good for you, man.
Sun was shining, ice-cold drinks, and I got to spend a good time with my wife. So it's I'm back, and I'm refreshed, and I'm ready to go, and we got a lot to talk about, including 2 more no-hitters happening this past week in baseball. We're going to touch on that and talk about how no-hitters have really, we're close to a record in for a season. We're going to touch on K rates, and boy, strikeouts are up all over the league, all over baseball, and what it means for offenses. But is it really meaning that much? So we'll touch on it as well. The big news out of the week, Albert Pujols finally signed, and he went somewhere where neither one of us, Kyle, just thought he would end up, and we'll go over that as well here later on the social. Want to stay tuned for that. And then the big controversy this week came out of Chicago, and luckily it wasn't on the north side. It was on the south side, where Tony LaRussa just did not want to stand up for his player and stand up for the game. So we'll get more into that as well. And is Tony out of his league on the south side of Chicago? And then we'll close the show by previewing a wooden bat tournament happening right here in Illinois, and we'll tell you a little bit of details about that as well. But we'll start, as we do every single week, we'll start going around the horn right here on Full Count. And we'll talk about 2 no-hitters again this week in Major League Baseball, number 5 and 6. Officially, Kyle. Officially. 5 and 6. But no, Spencer Turnbull of the Tigers, and then Corey Kluber of the Yankees on back-to-back nights on the 18th and 19th against Seattle and Texas, respectively. And, Kyle, that's 5 and 6. We count Bumgarner's at 7. What is going on in baseball? I mean, we are seeing we're on pace to have like 35 to 40 no-hitters this year.
Yeah, it's crazy. You heard Kershaw say something about, it being the dead ball and that they went a little too far with that. But, I'm not so sure. I mean, what was that stat you gave me earlier about which teams have been no-hit?
That's 3 of them. Texas twice, Seattle twice, Cleveland twice.
Okay, so those teams just aren't hitting right now. So, maybe it's a little bit the dead ball. And then outside of a couple of those pitchers, they've been legit, frontline pitchers for a while. So it really shouldn't be a big surprise.
It should. Let's go over the no-hitters in 2021. April 9th started everything off. Joe Musgrove, back in San Diego, the hometown boy, throws a no-no at home against the Rangers.
Yep.
Then we go April 15th. Less than a week later, Carlos Rodon of the White Sox pitches a no-no against Cleveland. A guy who signed for $3 million just to come back to Chicago because nobody else would sign him in the offseason throws a no-no.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go May 5th. John Means of the Orioles throws a no-no against Seattle. Wade Miley, 2 days later on May 7th for the Reds, throws a no-no against Cleveland. Now the Indians have been no-hit twice in the season.
Right.
And then we go this week, May 18th, Turnbull for the Tigers against Seattle again. And then Kluber the other night against for the Yankees against Texas. And, of course, we have the unofficial no-hitter in the books, Madison Bumgarner on April 25th, the 7-inning no-hitter against the Arizona Diamondbacks. But, Kyle, I watched some of that in the last couple innings of Kluber's the other night.
Mm-hmm.
And Kluber wasn't overpowering like he used to be. This is a different Corey Kluber, plus he's beardless, which looks really weird to me, but I know the Yankees can't have facial hair. But he was pitching to contact. It wasn't like he was trying to overpower guys or strike them out. He was pitching to contact and making his defense work, and that keeps your defense in play. And in a couple of these games I've seen, especially like the Musgrove and the Means one, these guys weren't pitching, getting 10, 12 strikeouts during that no-hitter. They were pitching to contact. So what Kershaw says, maybe that has a little bit to do with it, but also I think it's just good pitching performances on the mound.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain pitchers out there. I don't know if it applies to either of these pitchers, but are notorious to pitching to soft contact. And if they can just pound the zone or at least be around the zone and make them, chase a ball that they don't necessarily want to hit and put it in play, then, that plays to their favor. And like you say, keeping the defense on their toes is always a plus.
It is. It keeps everybody in the game, keeps your head in the game, because if you strike out 15, guys are going to get bored out there. Looking around, checking out everybody in the stands, because your capacity is getting bigger too, which is nice to see as well. But so the first no-hitter on record was in 1884. Oh, excuse me, that's the most no-hitters on record in Major League Baseball was in 1884 with 8.
Okay.
So the modern record after 1900 is 7. That has happened 3 times: 1990, 1991, and 2012. So we're in that kind of same mode as that early 90s baseball, which is reminiscent of kind of what you're seeing, the high strikeout totals. Mm-hmm. You think back, if you are as old as probably we are in RBI baseball, guys like Jim Rice, who struck out 200 times but hit 40 homers.
Right.
We're kind of back in that same mode as a style of game we're playing. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree. But back then it was your 1 or 2, 3 big hitters. Now it seems like everybody's in that mode.
Right.
All your players 1 through 9. You don't have, and I see it most in extra innings when they get to start a runner on second base. And so many times they do not use that first out to move that runner over. They're trying to win the ball game, and it makes no sense to me whatsoever.
No, especially if you get a guy in scoring position with nobody out. That ball's got to go the right side of the infield.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's how I was taught. I mean, that's Coach Welch always said, "Hey, guy on second, nobody out. You're getting that ball the right side."
I thought they told you to try to take one.
Well, in the back.
That's what I mean.
I think sometimes they wanted me to take one upside the head. Just wear it, Dorn. That's what they always told me. Well, they knew I didn't have speed, so if I got on base, they had a pitch run for me anyway. But no, you're right. You are seeing a lot of, and we're going to get to that here in just a few minutes when we talk K-rate as well, is the fact that you're not seeing a difference in hitters 1 through 9. You're seeing the same guys all the way through with the same approach.
Yeah.
And if you're on the mound, I think that's why you're seeing a lot of these no-hitters too, because you don't have to make a lot of adjustments on the mound at bat.
Absolutely. Yeah, you used to be, worried about being around the zone for those pesky line drive single hitters because they're going to put the ball in play. Now they're all swinging for the fences, and it's just, it's easier for the pitcher to get an out.
Right, exactly. Now there have been 310 official no-hitters in Major League history. So you look at, it's still tough to get one, without a doubt.
Oh, absolutely.
And here's a stat for you though. Out of those 310 no-hitters, only 21 have been perfect games. So I looked at that, I'm like, man, that's even more impressive. I knew perfect game was hard to come by, but so even less of a chance you got of a pitcher getting a perfect game. The last, of course, was King Felix out in Seattle back in 2012. So probably the most famous Don Larson, wouldn't you agree?
Do what?
Don Larson.
Oh, yeah, in the World Series, absolutely. Yeah.
So, where do you see the future of 2021 here? How many more do you think we'll just kind of see this kind of fall off and maybe not more no-hitters? Are we going to see maybe 3 or 4 more?
No, I definitely think you'll see, maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 more. But that all depends on the hitters. They've got to adjust, like we talked about earlier. If they're not going to make the adjustments, then you're going to see more. If they're willing to, shorten up a little bit, put the ball in play with 2 strikes, or, even earlier in the count, to become more of a contact hitter, then I think you'll see it slow down. But right now, there's no signs of that. And And the way the game's played today, there's no reason for them to do that.
That's a great point, and that's going to lead us to our next topic, which we'll go into when we get back after this quick break. We're going to take a quick one. We're going to get into K-rate, the strikeouts. Are they on the rise for a reason and why? Right here on Full Count with your hosts Keith Gibson and Kyle Drone. We'll be back after these messages.
Today's episode of Full Count is brought to you by Ford of Tuscola.
Check out the all-new Ford of Tuscola. It's a small-town feel with great big deals. Pre-owned vehicles starting at $24.95. Online at FordofTuscola.com or call 217-253-3353.
Back here on Full Count, Keith Gibson, Kyle Drone. Hope you got your coffee this Saturday morning as we are a week away from Memorial Day weekend. I hope you got plans going there too as well. We ended last segment before the break, Kyle. We were talking about, you made a great point and said your hitters 1 through 9 are basically the same guy. They're all swinging for the fences.
Mm-hmm.
Analytics has played a big part of the game here in the last 10 years, and everybody's looking at analytics. Everybody's wanting that launch angle now. You know, everybody's talking launch angle here in Major League Baseball. There was a point made on MLB Network sometime this week from Carlos Pena and from Sean Casey. I was watching them, and Pena made a good point. He said, you know, launch angle is great, but if you got guys uppercutting a swing even more and you're throwing high heat, the geometry doesn't work.
Yeah, the probability of the ball meeting the bat or the bat meeting the ball are reduced because you're swinging up through, and your timing has to be dead on.
Right. So as a hitter, you played baseball, and I was a high strike, you know, neck to chest high kind of. I love those pitches.
Mm-hmm.
But guys aren't going to reach that right now, and you're not going to do it, and that's why I think you're seeing a high strikeout rate. Joey Gallo leading Major League Baseball in strikeouts with 64 so far this season.
Yep.
64, Kyle Drone, in 150 at bats. That's a 42.6% K rate. So he's almost at 40. He's over 40% of the time he's going to strike out.
Right. Not even get out, but strike out.
Right.
Not even put the ball in play.
Not give your guys a chance to even move up, do anything. It's the little things that I think we're missing. Now, I'm a big Cub fan, as everybody knows, and we are in second place, and it's a big weekend. Cubs cards this weekend.
Yep.
You know, Cubs could sweep, possibly, maybe, no, okay. Okay, that was
anything could happen, I guess.
Yeah. But Javi Baez, everybody knows Javi's is a erratic swinger, and he is.
Right.
Javi is striking out 39.1% of the time this year. But he's got 10 homers and drove in 80 and still hitting 260. So what that tells me is he's hitting a homer. He's hitting some ball in the gap when guys are on, or he's striking out. That's it.
Right.
There's no pop-outs. There's no fly-outs. What's more important to you, though?
I would venture to say that there are very few of those outs that are productive.
Oh, yeah. I would probably say I can count them on one hand.
For sure. And those were mishits.
Correct. Something that just went off the end of the bat and we're dribbling down to second with a guy on second. Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. Love Javi, but
oh yeah, tremendous talent.
But that's numbers that tell me that he's not a $340 million guy like he thinks he is either.
Right. No, I agree.
So, you know, 10 homers, 28 RBIs, hitting 260 for Javi. Great. Is that more important than getting productive outs and maybe 6 homers, 20 RBIs, but hitting closer to 300?
No, absolutely. I go for the latter. And I mean, you know, without the stats in front of me, you know, the productive outs, like you said, what has he done? And when are those home runs come? Have they come with a 5-0 lead, or, you know, are they big time home runs? I assume that's figured into WAR and things like that, but yeah, I'll definitely take the average and lower home runs over what he's doing now any day.
So I got to thinking about guys who didn't strike out a lot, and there's only one guy that really came to my mind, and that was Mr. Padre, Tony Gwynn. And so I wanted to look up Tony's numbers, and it was mind-boggling to me. Tony Gwynn, in a 20-year career, struck out 434 times. That's it.
Wow.
In 20 years. That's a 4.4% clip for him strikeout rate. He had 10,232 career bats.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he only walks 7.7% of the time.
Right.
And he's a career 330 hitter. You know what that tells me? That guy could see a baseball from 2 miles away and tell you where it was going to end up and put the bat on the ball.
Yeah.
But no, it's amazing, but he's a Hall of Famer. So my question is, why aren't guys wanting to be more like Tony Gwynn instead of more like Sammy Sosa?
Well, I mean, I think that's, where the game has changed, what's been accepted, what they look for in these players. And now in today's game, it's accepted to hit 230 and hit 40 home runs, where 10, 15 years ago, you'd be on the bench.
Right, I agree. But why is it accepted? That's what I don't understand in Major League Baseball and these teams. Everybody talks about wins and runs. You got to score runs to win ball games. But when you don't do the little things, you see a guy strike out with the guys on second and third and the game on the line. I want a guy up there who's going to put the bat on the ball, not a guy who's going to get a 3-run homer.
Yeah, I mean, it could have a lot to do with, Major League Baseball trying to win over fans, new fans, younger fans, and the home run is probably going to stick out more than, a manufactured run,
Of course, yeah. That's why we don't see Whitey ball anymore.
Right.
The stolen base, the bunt him over, and then a ground ball to second base to score a run. You just don't see that. And if you do, it's because it's a fluke.
Right. Unfortunately.
So I got deeper into this a little bit, Kyle, and I was looking, because not to pick on Joey Gallo or Javi, but Joey Gallo has played parts of 7 seasons, not full seasons, but parts of 7 seasons, 516 games.
Right.
He has struck out 734 times already in his career at a 37% rate.
Wow.
Javi, in parts of 8 seasons, 761 games, has struck out 824 times.
Man.
At a 28.9% career rate. So almost 30% of the time. That's crazy. So that tells you just how good of a hitter Tony Gwynn was. But as you said, it was a different game.
Right.
But why can't we get back to that? So to me, that's fun baseball.
Well, to me too. I mean, that's the baseball I grew up with, playing and watching, and to me, there's nothing more exciting. But somewhere along the lines, Major League Baseball's decided this is where we're going with it. So
the question is, so I thought about this too, and wanted to throw it to you, because I think this changed the game. 98 changed the game. McGuire, Sosa changed the game of what people expected out of Major League Baseball, that home run chase. I really think it did, because it brought people in, and baseball's like, okay, we got to get this going. We got to get more home runs. This is what's going to draw a crowd. And I think that really changed the game of baseball.
right. No, I would agree. I mean, that year was special in so many ways. Cubs, Cardinals, McGuire and Sosa both performing unbelievably that year. And it probably saved baseball, coming off the strike, not so many years ahead. And, but yeah, probably has hurt it to where we're at now. And that's what's expected. And that's the brand of baseball everybody wants to see, I guess.
So my thought is to change this, it has to come at the team level first. It has to be a different philosophy of, we're not going to look for this. We got to put guys in the lineup, because you said it, during the last segment, and I'll repeat it again. 1 through 9 right now in the lineup are looking to hit the 3-run homer.
Right.
I think you can have 2 to 3 of those guys in your lineup, and it's perfectly fine.
Absolutely.
But you've got to have 3 to 4 guys who are going to put the bat on the ball and spray it around the field and get on base to score runs for those 2 or 3 guys who are going to hit it out of the park.
Right. No, I agree, and you're absolutely right. It's going to take the team's culture or philosophies to change and go back to see how they want to win baseball games. Right now, they want to win baseball games by the long ball, and it's not going to last forever. And it's not a great brand of baseball right now, I don't think. So we'll see how they change. I think what you'll see some of the lower budget teams try to play the Billy Ball type thing and try to win that way because they can't afford these millions of dollar contracts, for these, high strikeout, high home run guys. And maybe that changes it, and maybe people adapt to that. I really don't know, but I hope it happens sooner than later.
I 100% agree on that statement right there, Kyle. I hope it does happen sooner than later, because I want to see the days of. I love doubles. Guys like Mark Grace. I'm a Cub fan, but Grace is a doubles machine. Mm-hmm. Matt Carpenter early in his career, doubles machine.
Right.
Those are the type of guys that the reason they put up such good numbers, RBI numbers, they may only hit 20 homers a year, but they drove in 100 because they put the ball in play. We don't see those guys anymore, and now it's either home run or strikeout and then sit down. That's not fun for fans, and I don't know if Major League Baseball has figured that out yet.
Well, do you remember what, this kind of goes back to the uppercut swing and the launch angle, but do you remember Chavi talking about him being a notoriously slow starter in April?
Right.
And Justice told him to just go up there in April and all you're trying to do is hit singles. He said that was his approach. That's all he did. And all he did that first month was hit doubles and home runs, which goes back to something I was always told as a kid, drive the ball up the middle, home runs will come. So if they could get back to this philosophy, these players with the power, they're going to hit home runs, but they're going to have to learn to look up the middle or drive the ball, look for the line drive, and you're going to get lift naturally. And if they can get back to that, I don't think you'll see home runs. I mean, you're not going to have the huge home run numbers, but you're still going to have the 30, 40 home run guys, but they're going to be hitting 280, 290, 300 and driving in more runs, and they're going to be way more of a threat than they are now.
Great point. That's a great point. And if you take a curveball and actually go the opposite way, take a curveball and drive it to right field if you're a right-handed hitter or a lefty and go oppo with it instead of trying to yank it and pull everything. I think that's the biggest problem. And everybody says, well, the shift. If guys would get back to learn how to be a hitter instead of just being a power guy, we wouldn't have to worry about the shift.
Right, because they'll reshift themselves, because if you're killing them on the left side, they're not going to be overloading the right.
Right, exactly. That's exactly right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. We want your thoughts on it. Is the game better, or has it gotten worse with the home run and strikeout totals going up? Let us know on our Twitter, @FullCount_show. Make sure you follow our Facebook group, Full Count the Show, right there on Facebook as well, and let us know your thoughts. We always love feedback right here. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back, and we'll talk Albert Pujols. And he signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'll get Kyle Drone's thoughts as a Cardinal fan, and you'll get my thoughts, because I have some as well. So we'll be right back here on Full Count after these messages.
Today's episode of Full Count is brought to you by Bees Trees.
Bees Trees, your local ISA certified arborist with over 10 years experience, specializing in tree removal, tree trimming, and with free estimates. Call Greg Miller of Bees Trees today at 217-260-4551.
Back here on Full Count, the show for baseball fans, by baseball fans. Keith Gibson, Kyle Jerome, bringing you all the baseball news to keep you in the loop here each and every Saturday morning at dingerbats.com and on 103.5 ESPN Radio. Kyle Jerome, we've talked no-hitters, we've talked K-rate, we've talked home runs, and there's a guy that didn't strike out a whole lot, hit a lot of home runs, and is now a Los Angeles Dodger. How did this happen?
I have no idea.
I didn't either. I was on vacay, and I woke up one morning, got out of bed, and I see Albert Pujols is signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and that's the last place I thought he would ever end up. What was your first reaction as a Cardinal fan when you saw that?
A little disbelief, little, I'm not going to say angry, but I was like, oh, he's just going for a cheap ring at the end of his career. But, without knowing all the ins and outs, maybe the relationship in Anaheim just has been bad for a little bit. And maybe he feels like he's still got enough in the tank to contribute. And, you can't fault the guy for taking an opportunity as it presents itself. So I don't know. I would have liked to see him end his career in St. Louis, but if he thinks he's going to keep playing, maybe he does it next year. Who knows?
Well, that was my thought. So when I saw that, the first thing I thought was the same thing as you. If you're a free agent and you're going to get paid $30 million regardless of where you go,
Right.
why aren't you going after a ring? So I thought it was a great business move by him.
Right.
And the Dodgers really aren't. They have nothing to lose here either. So, and he's going to play a little first base, for him too, which is great, I guess. I mean, he can still catch the ball. But
yeah, no, he's not going to kill you. He's not going to kill you over there, but
no. But so, what does this do to the Dodgers now? Come say postseason in a World Series where you can have Albert be a DH.
it's definitely a seasoned bat. We'll just have to see where he is health-wise when that time comes.
Well, and things have been said back and forth between sports writers and Albert, and the Angels have been pretty quiet as well through all this. I'm just not sure and we both agree that it's not the right way they did it, the Angels.
No.
Without a doubt. I was surprised that Albert didn't end up in St. Louis. So what this tells me, though, is we could see him finish a year with the Dodgers, so he doesn't have to move his family, doesn't have to sell his house, try to find something else mid-season, and then he signs a 1-year deal with the Cardinals, and that's his swan song, and he gets to have his farewell tour. And I could really see that happening from him, and he deserves it. Don't get me wrong, he deserves it.
Yeah.
But I could see that happen as well. But him still playing a role. Maybe him and Yachty both go out, and Wainwright, all three go out in the sunset together.
That would be crazy.
That would be nuts, but let's hope they go because I'm sick of seeing them. Good night. All those three do is win. But no, Albert back in Dodgers. So we, you won't get to see a whole lot of him, just like you haven't for the last 10 years because he's on the West Coast.
Right.
What's your reaction? What do you think the fan reaction will be when the Dodgers come to St. Louis? Because it's gonna be a full stadium now come June 1st in Busch.
I feel like they'll give him a standing applause for multiple minutes. I mean, he's beloved in St. Louis. All's forgotten about him leaving. I mean, the return home when he was with the Angels, I went to that game and it was pretty unreal. The electricity, and then couple that with the fact that we're just now getting full capacity and everybody's trying to get out to the ball game that hasn't been able to because of the restrictions. I think he'll have an amazing welcome.
I'm anxious to see what kind of welcome he gets. I agree with you. I think he will get a pretty good standing O. I don't know if it'll be as long as it was when he was with Anaheim, but I think he'll get a pretty good standing O. Let's talk a little bit about the restrictions being lifted. Ballpark's going to be full capacity. How excited are you to just be around 50,000 other people cheering on the Cardinals and getting to see maybe a W?
Not really that much, because now the bathroom line's going to be longer. No, I'm just kidding.
That's a good point.
It was definitely a unique experience going to opening day and walking in the bathroom and nobody's in there. But no, yeah, absolutely. As soon as I get a chance, I will be going to a full capacity game, and hopefully my dad can go with me and we can really get back to normal, so to speak, and just feel the excitement, man. I mean,
right.
A full stadium is just amazing. And I'm looking forward to it.
I am anxious to hear how loud it gets, because you've had people bottled up in their homes, not able to yell at anybody or anything besides the TV for the last year and a half. And you get them together. I think it's going to be loud each and every day.
Yeah.
I think tickets are going to be, you're going to see the secondary market ticket prices are going to go up too. They already have, because I looked at the Rays tickets while we were down in Florida, and they were going silly money. And then my wife said, you know, well, we're only down here for a few days. We're not doing that. And I said, okay. You won. Happy wife, happy life, ladies and gentlemen. Just remember that. No, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it from every baseball stadium, and I think it will bring some normalcy to all over the country once this all happens.
For sure.
So looking forward to that. Other news, Cardinals, first place still. Don't like it. I have to deal with it. But I had a good friend of mine put on Facebook the other day. He said, how hot can Arenado get? And ladies and gentlemen, I even picked Nolan Arenado to win the MVP this year because he is comfortable. He is, without a doubt, he looks like he has belonged there for a long time.
No, he does. But, I mean, it shouldn't be any surprise. He's done it, you know, every year. He just happened to do it with the Rockies. In the last few years, nobody's watching the Rockies. So, you know, and there's always been it's so much easier to hit the ball out of, you know, mile high or whatever it's called now. What is it called now?
Coors Field.
You know, the home run rates are so much higher. The ball travels further. But, you know, this guy can hit anywhere. He's going to hit for a decent average, and he's going to put the ball out of the ballpark, and he's going to drive in a bunch of runs. And then on the other side of it, you know, he's probably one of the best third basemen in the game right now. So he is a complete player.
Even as a Cub fan, I will say this. I'm not sure if we aren't seeing greatness and not appreciating it enough in Nolan Arenado defensively. Right. You're talking about an 8-time Gold Glover, and you may not see that ever again. Right. He plays such great defense, and he saves games and saves runs and makes the pitcher feel a lot more comfortable back there. I mean, I would feel like I'd have nothing to lose with him at third. I mean, without a doubt. So, but no, yeah. So good for the Cardinals. We'll see what this weekend brings against the Cubs. The Cubs, we're gonna just mellow around 500, I think, all year long. I think we will, and until the trade deadline, and you're gonna see guys go. There's a fire sale, baby. Just mark my words. So, hey, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back, and we're going to talk about Tony LaRussa. Kyle Drone said earlier before the season started that Tony LaRussa should not be in Chicago, and I just don't like it when he's right, but he just may be. Come back, and we'll talk about what he had to say about his own player here on Full Count. We'll be right back.
Kester Homes is your full-service real estate team. They work all of Champaign County and a full 60-mile radius around. What really sets Kyle, Tiffany, and their team apart is they work with home buyers, home sellers, and build new construction homes. So they really are seeing all angles of the real estate industry, from existing homes, investment properties, and new construction. Contact Kester Homes at 217-390-5953 or visit online at kesterhomes.com. That's KOESTER homes.com. Kester Homes is a licensed real estate broker with the Keller Williams, the Real Estate Center of Illinois. It's now time for This Week in Baseball History. On May 22, 1977, Boston and Milwaukee hit a combined 11 home runs in a 14-10 Red Sox victory at Fenway Park. The 11 home runs tied a major league record. The Red Sox connected for 6, and the Brewers hit 5 in the first game of a doubleheader. On May 23, 1978, the American League approves the transfer of the Red Sox to a group headed by Gene Yawkey, Buddy LaRue, and Haywood Sullivan. The purchase price for the Red Sox? Just $15 million. On May 24, 1940, the Cleveland Indians edge the St. Louis Browns 3-2 in the first night game at Sportsman's Park before 24,827 fans. Bob Feller beats Eldon Auker and adds a home run in the win. On May 25, 1935, Babe Ruth has his last hurrah, hitting 3 home runs at Pittsburgh. The final one, the last of his 714 career home runs, is the first to clear the right field grandstand at Forbes Field and is measured at 600 feet. On May 26, 1993, Jose Canseco couldn't be accused of not using his head by anyone in Cleveland. The Texas right fielder went to catch a fly ball off the bat of Carlos Martinez when it hit his head and bounced over the fence for a home run. On May 27, 1968, Montreal and San Diego are awarded National League franchises after a 10-hour meeting of league owners. And finally, on May 28, 1951, after going 0 for 12, Willie Mays connects for his first major league hit, a home run off Braves pitcher Warren Spahn, the first of 19 he hit against Spahn in his career. Mays and the Giants lose the game 4-1. That's your This Week in Baseball History provided by Full Count.
Back here with another episode of Full Count on DingerBats.com and on 103.5 ESPN. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning. If you're listening to us in the car or at your house or wherever you listen to us, make sure you tune in to DingerBats.com each and every Saturday morning for us. Or you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're all over the place. And you can also download the podcast at Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. You name it, we're there. You can even tell Alexa, play Full Count the podcast, and she will for you. But Kyle Drone, as we want to talk about something, man, I hate saying you were right, but you were right about our next topic, and that's old Tony LaRussa, who was hired as a White Sox manager in the offseason, and you said you didn't think he'd be a good fit. Well, he's proven that you are right. And I thought he would be. I thought maybe he'd instill some stuff in the younger guys, but this week, he came out and didn't defend his player after he hit a 3-0 homer off an infielder for the Angels and said, it shouldn't have happened. Shouldn't be swinging 3-0. What's your thoughts on this, Kyle Drone?
I think no matter what, publicly, he should defend his players. How he handles it in the clubhouse and with him personally is two different things. I think his point could have got across if he, got on him in the dugout, whatnot, or in the clubhouse. I mean, they're young kids. This is where the game's at, and you're getting paid to play baseball, and to let up on somebody just because they're out of pitching or whatever. I don't know that you can fault him for that. It definitely goes against old school rules. I will agree, and if we were playing in those times, I would, 100% say that was a bad move. But at the same time, he's a rookie. He's trying to get his name out there. He's trying to put up numbers. He's trying to stay in the big leagues. So, I'm kind of conflicted on it. I do think Tony should have not publicly said anything about it or no commented that, because you're going to lose the trust of your players. And, that's horrible as a manager, and because it's hard to come back from that. So that's kind of where I see it.
This is not the first time Tony's made a mistake this year. Let's be honest. He had the extra inning mistake earlier, just 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now he does this. Is Tony just out of his league? Even I'm starting to think Tony's out of his league.
I don't want to say he's out of his league, but he's out of this league. The guy has more baseball knowledge in his pinky than we'll ever have. And, tremendous manager and coach for so many years. And I just, being out of it and then coming into the new way the manager-player dynamic is, I just didn't think it was a good fit. I didn't think he would make, the mistakes he's made, but I just didn't see him in today's game.
Well, and I kind of did. I thought maybe he'd be able to bring some old school to these young kids and do a good mix at the beginning of the year. But, boy, Tony on the south side, I don't know how much longer they're going to put up with it, to be honest with you. But they're going to have to find somebody to connect with these younger guys. You're not going to – Tony's not connecting with Yermont. He's not connecting with Jose. He's not with Abreu. He's not connecting with Tim Anderson. This is a core. The White Sox want to be respected, and they have the talent to be respected.
Right.
You look at the rotation with Giolito and Rodon and Lance Lynn and Keuchel and Kopech. That's a respectable and a very good rotation.
No, definitely.
Now, they've had some injuries. Eloy's out.
Yep.
Luis Roberts out. But you still got Jose Abreu. You've got Grandal. You've got Tim Anderson. They're a team that needs to be respected, and this doesn't bring a good light to a young team that's trying to get over that hump.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe he can learn from it, or he may not think he did anything wrong. I'm not really sure, obviously, but the one thing I do know is you cannot lose the respect of your players, because then they just won't perform for you.
Yeah, they just won't care. And that's why I think it may be getting time where you're going to see a change in Chicago.
That would be crazy if they did, but it wouldn't surprise me either.
I'm gonna call it now. Here's my prediction: Kyle Drone by the All-Star break. Tony LaRussa's going out of Chicago.
Wow, that's pretty bold.
It is bold, but I like to be bold. I'm not always right, but sometimes when I am, it makes me feel good. Hey, let's talk about your boy Mike Trout, out 6 to 8 weeks with a right calf strain. Man, I hate to see this. Having the best year of his career, hitting the ball well, doing all the things to keep the Angels in it, and then this happens. I mean, Albert's gone, and now Trout's gone. Where do the Angels got Shohei? Thank goodness, because he's doing everything unworldly right now.
Right.
But what does this do for the Angels without Trout?
Well, definitely. I mean, he's your star. He's your leader. He's everything. It's definitely going to hurt the team in that respect. Is it going to hurt Trout in the MVP voting? I don't know. He only needs 75% of a season to put up the numbers everybody else does. So, I think he won his last MVP missing the last 30 days of the season, 30 games or so. So, yeah, I always hate to see him. Well, I hate to see anybody hurt, but him especially, because he's so special and he works so hard. But if he doesn't take the time off, it could be something that hurts him even more in the long run. So it's he's got to do what he's got to do, and I'm sure it's killing him more than it is anybody.
6 to 8 weeks, though. When I saw that he was going to be out 6 to 8 weeks with a calf strain, I thought that was a long time. Does that seem long to you?
Yeah, it seems long. I would put it more around 4, but they, maybe they just, I really don't know.
I mean, you can work the calf out, can't you? Unless he tore something that they're not saying. But 6 to 8 weeks just sounded like a while.
I would expect that they would disclose if it was a tear or something like that. I mean,
yeah, true. But the other news is the guy that his teammate Shohei Ohtani can do no wrong. The guy pitches 4 1/3 the other night, then goes out and plays right field for the next 3 innings. He's leading the league in home runs. He's drawing fans to the ballpark. I don't know how long the kid can do it, but it sure is fun to watch it.
Oh, yeah, man. I hope he can keep it going. I think eventually he'll slump off of being a starting pitcher, and maybe as he continues on, then he plays the whole game. Then he comes out and closes it, throwing 100 miles an hour in the last inning. I think that would be cool.
That would be awesome.
That would be really cool. But being a starter, man, that's just going to tax on him, year after year. Even though it's shorter innings than it used to be, 4 innings, 5 innings, 6 innings here and there. But yeah, he's amazing. I hope he continues doing great things, and he's fun to watch, like you said.
When guys from other walks of life and other professional sports, like J.J. Watt tweeted the other day that we're watching something that we may never see again. And he's exactly right. It's been how long since Babe Ruth done this? And now you're seeing Shohei Ohtani do this. And he said, take it in for all it's worth. Get every glimpse you can on a tweet. And he's right. I was thinking, I'm like, man, that's a great perspective right there, because, yeah, you may never see this again.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's fun to watch. Watch as much of it as you can, because like you said, it may be over.
Let's talk about a guy who is going to be done for the season due to a back, another injury. Baltimore Orioles first baseman DH Chris Davis signed a very large contract after I believe it was the 2014 season.
Mm-hmm.
Still owed $30 million for the next 2 years, and he's taken 19 at bats in the last 3.
Wow.
Kyle Drone, is there? I mean, if you're the Orioles, can't you just cut ties with this and just say move on?
I mean, you would think, but I mean, he's a tremendous guy and great clubhouse guy, and I feel for him. I don't know how he fell off so hard. I get it for one season, but I figured he'd figure it out, get his mind right, fix the hole in his swing or whatever it is. but he's just not been able to, and the injuries have just been harder and harder to come back from. And I think a lot of that's mentally, because if you're in that big of a funk and can't figure out how to get back, I don't know that you really want to get back.
Right. No, I completely agree with you. And he was one of the best power hitters in baseball for a span of about 3 to 4 years, and then he signed that extension, and then it just went down the drain. So yeah, I hate to see it too, but at the same time, it's like, man, Orioles. I mean, you're still paying him. Might as well get somebody in there who can play, though, if you're going to have to pay him.
Yeah, I mean, you would think, but maybe he's still selling enough jerseys to make it worthwhile. I don't know.
Well, I know a guy in Baltimore who is selling jerseys right now, a guy who went from cancer to leading the league in RBIs right now. That's Trey Mancini. What a great story that's been so far in baseball, too. So keep your eye on Trey Mancini. Definitely should be comeback player of the year if he keeps up this pace.
No doubt.
Hands down.
Another great guy, great talent. Was very, very sad to hear what happened to him, but he's in full remission and he's coming back, and hopefully he can have a great career.
That tells me he's full of heart, is what that tells me right there.
No,
never say die attitude. So, hey, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and make the call, the bullpen, and close up the show. We'll preview a little tournament where we both will be at this weekend here in Illinois. Stay tuned here to Full Count. We'll be right back after these messages.
Today's episode of Full Count is brought to you by Bosco's Biscuits and Booze. If you need the taste of Southern Illinois, then visit the all-new Bosco's Biscuits and Booze, home of the world champion daily special. 2 large, all-natural, juicy white meat chicken breast, a side of the famous What the Hell biscuits, and a bucket of the cheapest beer in stock for only $6.99. Located at the corner of Old Milwaukee Boulevard, next to the Primo Hooer Hotel. Bosco's Biscuits and Booze. It's world champion food and cheap-ass booze.
Back here on Full Count, making the call, the pen. Keith Gibson, Kyle Drone with you. And we've talked no-hitters, we've talked K-rates, we've talked home runs, we've talked Big Albert, the machine, signing in L.A. Didn't have to go very far, did he, Kyle?
No, just across the way.
But then we've talked about a little bit of Tony LaRussa in Chicago and what a sticky situation that is. And believe me when I say this, it was a bold prediction. You said it was bold, and I will tell you he'll be out there by the All-Star break. But we'll see. Only time will tell.
We will see.
But let's close up the show today and preview a little bit what we're going to be next weekend, Memorial Day weekend, Kyle Jerome. Dinger Bats is sponsoring a wooden tournament in Effingham, Illinois. That'll be exciting. So we will be down there. You'll be down on Friday and Saturday?
I'll be there Friday and Saturday, and I think you're coming down Saturday, right?
Yep, I'll be down there Saturday too, so we'll have some Full Count gear with us. We'll have some hats, we'll have some T-shirts, we'll have some Huggies. I'll be bringing that with me so you can see us down there, ask us questions, and give us some ideas for the show. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. I'm sure you'll have the ability to order some Dinger Bats right there on site as well, correct?
We will have bats for sale at the site. Batting gloves, T-shirts, sunglasses.
Mercy.
Yeah.
You can get your players all head to toe in Dinger gear, which they should be anyway.
Everything that you can use during the show, you can buy at our booth.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So we'll be there all weekend long. Looking forward to that. It'll be a fun time. It's supposed to be great weather as well, and so you can look us up there if you have any questions and need address or need to find us. Just contact us, and we'll give you all that. But Kyle, other than that, the baseball is just heating up. I'm excited for Memorial Day weekend. That's always kind of the time where you get the contenders and the pretenders in baseball. You start getting that separation.
Yep, exactly what I was
There's not a whole lot of pretenders right now.
No.
Let's talk NL Central just for a second as we close things up here. Things are pretty tight between the top three, as we figure they would be, with the Cubs, the Cardinals, and the Brewers.
Yep.
By the end of June,
the Cubs are a surprise.
The way the roster they have, they are a surprise. Yes, I'm not going to agree with you. Do you see the Cardinals running away with this in June? Because it's June, and usually the Cubs have a June swoon.
Unfortunately, the Cardinals, usually are a late break team. If they just hang around, have a small lead would be preferred. But as long as they're there, July, August is where they really, really start to pick things up. Now, would I like to see them run away with it in June? Yeah, absolutely. But is it going to happen? Not sure.
Let's talk Brewers a little bit real quick here, and that's the Brewers are getting healthy. They got Yelich back.
Yep.
That's a big game changer for them.
Could be.
They're getting healthier. Their pitching staff is back. Could the Brewers make a run here as well in June and see? Is it just going to be more of the same, you think, in the Central, or are we going to see a team start to kind of go away and another team start to slide?
Well, obviously the Brewers are the only team that really scares me on a run like that. But I don't know. I think the Cardinals are going to compete and keep it close. If not, have a slight edge coming out of June.
Let's talk Mets a little bit too. Mets are dealing with a bunch of injuries as well. Conforto's out, McNeil's out, Lindor's not earning his $341 million. We talked about at the beginning of the year the Mets were a team that we thought maybe this could be the year that they surprised us and didn't pull their normal expectations, but it seems like the Mets are just one of those teams in the East that they could finish dead last.
They could. Can you imagine just spending however many billions of dollars to buy them and watching this for your first year?
Well, yeah, but the good news is Syndergaard is supposed to Noah Syndergaard, who had Tommy John, is going on a minor league rehab start, so they could get him back. They could get DeGrom back. I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets make a run at some point during this next month or two, and you get everybody healthy. But also, it wouldn't surprise me if they just floundered and didn't do diddly squat.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a coin flip. They have the talent. They've got tons of talent, and they're just not performing. So I don't know what their schedule looks like. Maybe they can get off to a good, run and continue on and have a big June. But they're going to need it.
Which team in all of baseball, maybe pick a couple teams here, do you like really moving forward and taking command of a division?
I feel like the Dodgers will pull away. I feel like the Yankees, if they continue to play like they're playing, can start to pull away. The Red Sox have surprised me, and I guess because I wasn't expecting much from them. And then when you look at their roster, they're pretty stacked. So, I don't really, out of those, the Yankees and the Dodgers are the two to me that are kind of teams that are capable of running out on people, but the way everybody's playing right now, I think it's going to be competitive for a while.
I agree with you there. The Yankees, I just don't know if the Yankees can maintain what they're doing. We've talked off air that, as long as the offense clicks, the Yankees click.
Right.
So as long as they stay healthy and they get guys, Judge keeps producing, Stanton stays healthy. He's on the 10-day IL right now, and he produces. It'll be interesting. But, I agree with you there. I still think the Padres could end up winning the NL West. I really do. And the Giants are hanging around, but I don't see them hanging around all year long. That's one team I can see start falling back.
The Giants have been a huge surprise.
Yeah, without a doubt. So, but it'll be fun baseball. We're at the Memorial Day weekend coming up next weekend. Come visit us if you're around the area, whether you're in Effingham County, Clay County, or you're coming down to the tournament. You've got some kids playing. Come see us. Just say hi. We always like to meet people and let us know that you listen to the show. So, for my co-host Kyle Drone, I am Keith Gibson. You have listened to Full Count. We'll see you next Saturday morning at dingerbats.com and on 103.5 ESPN Radio.